Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 12 of our Liverpool FC playthrough here in Football Manager 2016. In today's episode, we're doing an end of season live com special. I'm going to have 3 games for you guys today. They are against Everton, Crystal Palace and Swansea. If you missed last episode, you've seen the result now, but it was incredible. Definitely go check it out. We'll also have the Europa League, but that will be coming in episode 13. So, with 3 games, we're going to crack on straight into these. But before we begin, just a quick look at the league table so you can kind of see the situation. So with 3 games left, we find ourselves 1 point behind Manchester United, 2 points behind Chelsea, and then Arsenal and Man City a little way off the pace. Behind us, Tottenham sit 5 points behind us, so we've got a little bit of a cushion onto them. So really, this episode, we're going to be looking to try and get that top 4 finish. Our fixtures are against, as you can see here, Everton, Crystal Palace and Swansea. They're all kind of mid-table teams. If we take a look at Manchester United's fixtures, they've got a fairly easy schedule of Watford, who are in 15th, West Brom in 16th and West Ham in 13th. And of course Chelsea, who are only 2 points ahead of us and in 3rd at the moment, currently sit in a pretty precarious situation really, as they're going to have Tottenham and Arsenal to end the season, and I'm hoping they might slip up against those teams. You know, Tottenham in 6th, Arsenal in 2nd, and that might open a door for us. But we can only win our remaining games. They're not going to be easy by any means, and to kick things off, we're actually going to be doing the Merseyside derby, so this should hopefully be a cracker. Since the last episode, not a lot's really happened. If you missed the last episode and you've not watched it back, it was a Europa League semi-final first and second leg. It was a pretty memorable game, all things considering. Looking at the injury front, as you can see here, Coutinho and Firmino both out injured. Coutinho been out, of course, with a torn hamstring. Only 9 days to 3 weeks left of that injury, so hopefully, just maybe, he'll be back for the Europa League final. Firmino out for 1 to 2 days with a bruised thigh, was it? Yeah, a bruised thigh. And Lucas out for 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury still. So unfortunately for him, looking like his season may be over. Anyway, looking at our team here, this is the squad that I think we're going to go with, unless I make a last-minute kind of decision change, which actually I am going to do. I'm going to stick with Benteke alongside Ings, I think. But this is our team, so Moreno, Sacco, Skrtel, Klein, Mignolet back in goal, of course. Been injured, but was back for the game's last episode. Good to have him back in the side, and, well, that is pretty much our full strength back, kind of 5, I guess, if you include the goalkeeper. In the midfield, we go with Emre Can at box-to-box, Henderson at Roman playmaker, and Allen at centre-mid defend. Ibe is going to be our trequartista due to the injuries that we have to both Coutinho and Firmino. Worth noting, I am in the process of training Gabriel Barbosa to also play centre attack in mid. I just feel like it's a role that's going to be semi-useful for him to have. If we look at how good he is at the trequartista, to be honest, his attributes don't really suit the role perfectly. But in terms of just having a little bit of backup in that centre attacking mid position, it's nice to have. And he's a pretty well-rounded off striker, Gabriel Barbosa, and I kind of feel like he can adapt to that role if we need him to. So that's the team for today's game. Of course, we are playing Everton, who we beat, I believe, in the last live com we did against them. I almost want to check now, because I now have a feeling I might be wrong. Let's have a quick check. I feel like we beat them. We did lose them, of course, which is worth remembering, in the FA Cup for 5th round. We didn't actually do a live com of that game, but you can see last time we played them was at home in the league and we won 2-0. However, today away from home, going to be a slightly different task. And yeah, we'll just see how we get on here. So they're going with a 4-2-3-1. Stephen Naismith leading the line for them. We've already covered our team. I'm pretty hopeful that we can get a good result here. I'm going to tell our players that we owe Everton after the last game, of course. As I mentioned, they knocked us out in the FA Cup, and that was a pretty disappointing result, but it did, on the back of that result, really see us kind of galvanise our team. We started performing better following that game, and I'm hoping that we're going to have more of the same here. So Jordan Ibe bringing the ball forward from the kickoff. I don't know why I even started to live com that, because, well, we all know deep down in our hearts of hearts that there's never a goal from kickoff in FM. If you see the highlight at kickoff, you just disregard it, don't you? As oh, blimey, great saves there by Mignolet. That was fantastic by him. And we are going to need more of that kind of goalkeeping, I guess, to see us secure a win here. 9 minutes in, Everton looking pretty dominant. That's a little bit worrying, in terms of the shots at least. They are, of course, playing with their wide men, so we've got to be wary of that. But we have a chance here. Benteke options inside. Jordan Ibe's there. There was Ings on ahead, but he couldn't pick out a pass, and Sacco has missed a crucial interception. Naismith clean through on goal almost, but Sacco makes amends for his error. But Deulofeu now cleverly, Mignolet with the save, and it's going to be scrambled away somehow. Is it clear? Is it safe? Is it over? It is. Mirallas offside. I'm actually thinking about changing something really early on, and I've not done this change this year. But I feel like we might need to do it just to help out ourselves in the wide area. So, why not do it? Why not just change everything, Jack, now? You know, you've been doing well all season, playing against your rivals in the league, and now you suddenly want to change your system. I mean, makes perfect sense, right? So the change that I actually want to do is I want to play with wide men. So we're going to go with Jordan Ibe out on the right and Danny Ings on the left, cutting in on his right hand side onto his right foot. The reason for this change is that I'm a little bit concerned about Everton's width, and it's something that's been an issue, I guess, in other games, and I've not really addressed it, and, well, I want to address it here. So, of course, this episode we are going to be aiming for top 4. However, it is certainly worth considering the fact that winning the Europa League would also see us qualify for the Champions League. However, our kind of expectation from the board is to finish top 4 in the league and get European qualification that way. So that has got to be the aim, really. But this is pretty, I don't want to say disappointing so far, but Everton have really been on top, and this hasn't happened in that many games, particularly against lesser opposition. And I say that very loosely because Everton aren't necessarily the worst team in the world. As Naismith scores, it's offside though. But no, this hasn't been a common occurrence, and so I don't know really. It's a tricky one. I mean, maybe we can hit them on the break. I'm going to look at things at half time, see if we can change things for the better. Although we are on the attack here, we've only had one shot on target. Maybe this is a chance to craft out another opportunity. Henderson at the edge of the box, passes through to Benteke. Benteke squeezes it in against the run of play. We do get a goal. We do. I'm not going to change our system just yet because obviously we've not had that long with this kind of slightly adjusted 4-3-3 really, with the kind of wide attacking men. But it's worked for us there. Some nice build-up play out wide. Moreno laid it inside to Henderson. He picked out a really nice pass there. Just cut it through. Was it Jagielka who tried to play the offside trap? It was. And we've kind of taken that opportunity that's come our way with our first real shot on goal. Anyway, another attack here. Henderson inside to Emre Can. Options to his left, also Benteke there, and Benteke scores his second of the game. 17th goal of the season for him, and now I suddenly feel quite relieved that I brought Benteke into the side during the commentary. Decided, you know what, Christian, you've been pretty good this year. Sturridge, I'm kind of picking you just because, I guess attribute-wise, you're probably slightly better than Christian. But in reality here, Benteke's been in fine form this year. And to be honest, I kind of feel bad for having not started him more. He's shown some good clinicalness here, and we find ourselves 2 goals up. And he's really good at playing this lone striker role. And obviously, this year we've not really had the wide men to play this kind of formation regularly. But with the development of Ibe, and we have a penalty now, and Benteke will take it for the hat-trick. But with, as I was going to say, with the development of Ibe, with Markovic coming back from his loan, we are going to have options out wide. And it is going to be, I guess, a possibility for us to play a wider formation like this one, which really since the switch has been working wonders for us. Anyway, Benteke with the penalty grabs his hat-trick, his third of the game. He smashed that in, and wow, what a performance. Away from home at Goodison Park, we are leading the Merseyside derby 3-0. I don't want to get too carried away just yet, because stranger things have happened than we get carried away at 3-0 and ending up losing the game 4-3, but since the changes, we're looking pretty comfortable. I feel like the goals have really settled down our side. We're able to go out there and kind of play without so much pressure on us. And Christian Benteke, kind of being forced into that kind of lone striker role, has adapted to it during the half and played superbly. So we'll tell the players we're happy. I'm also going to tell them that I have faith in them to improve. You know, just feed them as much little bits, I guess, of confidence as we can. But yeah, really good stuff so far this half. Delighted. At some point we should probably get up the other fixtures, I guess, and maybe that's something worth doing now. I'm not even sure, you know, if teams are playing today. Looking at it, it looks like Chelsea and United are both winning their own games. Of course, Chelsea with Tottenham and Arsenal left to play towards the end of the year. We're not really expecting United to slip off the pace just because they've got fairly easy games, but it's something to keep an eye on. We'll put this here. I'll probably fail to notice a change in the table at some point, knowing my luck during this episode, as McCarthy commits a foul when we maybe had a break. So look at the stats. Everton, probably this half been the slightly better team. Benteke struggling for condition, so we will take him off now. His job has been done. I'm also going to take off Moreno for Joe Gomez, who I have been training to play left back. Moreno already booked. Don't want to really get a red card here. We don't want players missing for these kind of key games towards the end of the season, so it just makes sense to just take him off. Allow him, I guess, just to not have to worry about going in for some tackles, and that's working for us. Everton still going at this game. Looking at their stats, they have been pretty good, Everton, all things considering. Looking at it here, United have started drawing their game. I'm not sure who they're playing. It's either West Ham or West Brom, I believe. So that's a result that's going in our favour. And at the moment, with 2 games left, we will find ourselves, well, in 4th place and in a Champions League spot, which would be absolutely incredible. As Barbosa thread through wings. Barbosa, that is a beautiful goal. That is an incredible team goal. Do not stare at the league table. Watch this in 3D. This was really nice. Great little 1-2 between Barbosa and Ings. Barbosa not had a load of first-team football really this year. He's still young, the Brazilian international. But with finishes like that, and if he can continue to improve at the rate he has, and he has improved since he joined, next season could be a really big season for him. So this is looking good for us. This is looking really good. 4-0, we've won this game as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if we could get a few more to help with goal difference, that might not be the worst thing in the world, because it is a possibility that goal difference could be what's used to separate us and kind of, the difference between 4th place and not 4th place. So if we can just get as many goals as we can, that would be fantastic. I mean, in an ideal world, assuming United don't get a late goal here, it's going to be key for us, to just not slip up. It's going to be our fate in our own hands. Going into this game, I kind of knew that despite the fact we're live coming all the games, we could win all of them and not do that well. But I didn't expect United to slip up. I thought Chelsea were going to be the team if anyone was going to slip up in these last 3 games, because they were taking on Spurs, of course. What I'm going to do this episode is I'm not actually going to edit out, I think, between games. I'm just going to kind of continue to live com. As a result, things may get a little rambly. Baines has just got a consolation for Everton, but things might get a little bit rambly. I'd like to know in the comments. Obviously, we've done a few episodes so far, this series, where I'll kind of cut between matches if there's a few big games in a row that I'm going to commentate. But would you guys like to see me kind of talk between the matches and stuff? There probably won't be that much kind of interest going on screen, but I know everyone has their kind of preference when it goes to videos and when it comes to videos. But yeah, we'll live com all the remaining 2 games, and we're not going to cut out in between, I don't think, unless there's like a 2-week break between games. So looking at the fixtures, Manchester United actually drew with Watford. That is a big shock. Man City drew. Arsenal drew as well. Wow, all the teams at the top really slipped up this game. Chelsea, the only team in the top 3 to win. Looking at this, Arsenal have actually thrown away the title, it seems here. It looks like City are going to be the team who win the title, just because Arsenal have now played 37 games. We can't catch them, unfortunately, so 3rd is the highest we can finish. We're going to try and do that. We now have to go to Crystal Palace. I hope this game isn't away, because, well, as you guys may know, okay, it's at home, thank God. As you guys may know, last time Liverpool had a big game, shall we say, to play at Crystal Palace, it wasn't particularly memorable for the right reasons as a Liverpool fan, let's say. I'm hoping that we can maybe put those demons behind us, as we will go into today's game. As you can see, there's not a big gap between these matches, so it really suits to do these all in one sitting. I won't do the press conferences. One thing I haven't talked about, and this is I've just remembered this because this has popped up. I have signed some regens on Regen Day. We have 3 of them here. There's also this guy who I'm scouting, Collier, who looks okay, 16 years old, looks like a really good young English player, but unfortunately I couldn't get that pre-contract, and he'd already signed for Birmingham, and Birmingham want £10 million for this guy, so I decided not to go for him. But I have signed 3 other regens. I can't believe I forgot about this. This happened like months ago. We'll talk about them now, why not? Now, quick warning, of course, game still in beta at this point. I've had a weird bug where all my regens have generated bald for this year. So every player I'm about to show you has no hair, who we've signed. So we'll start with the first one. Mario Barrett, Again, no hair. 15 years old though. Looks like a really good playmaker. Looks like a really, he's going to be a really nice player. Not got the best vision perhaps, but good passing, good flair, good first touch. Good technique for a player who's only 15. As you can see here, consistency might need some work, but he has some decent potential, this guy. Could improve a lot in the future. Also has good work rate, and if we can get him tutored and just get his determination up a little bit, he could be a really nice playmaker for us. My only real concern, I guess, is his lack of athleticism, but he has good stamina and he has good natural fitness, so I don't think he's going to struggle to keep up with games. It's just a case of will he have the pace to get in amongst the action. Anyway, the next player that we brought in is Lewis Brufton? I will go with it. This guy's 16 years old. I don't know if he's still going to be tipped to be the next Michael Owen. He is. This guy, next Michael Owen apparently. I mean, that's one hell of a appraisal. If we can send him to Real Madrid, and then he gets injured a few times, I'll be happy. This guy's 16 years old, great finishing, great composure, great off the ball. The three core attributes, in my opinion, for an attacker. Looking at his physicals, good pace, good acceleration. Perhaps doesn't have the intelligence of like a really good forward, but this guy's only 16. He's played quite a lot of non-competitive games for West Ham, and just game time with us in our youth team is going to help him. And then the last regen we've signed is Damien O'Sullivan. Again, another striker, another English player too, signed from Watford. The big, I guess, worry for this guy is injury proneness. Came up as a big red flag. However, this guy's only joining us for 500k. He's really young. If we just look at his actual attributes, you can see here, very talented, very technically gifted, very attackingly gifted. Perhaps not the biggest athlete in the world, but he has some pretty good jumping reach for a player who's only 15. He's got plenty of room to improve. If he doesn't get injured, and he can improve to what potentially my scouts and my assistants think he can improve to, he's going to be a good player. If he does get injured but can still develop a little bit, we're probably going to make money off him because we've only signed him for 600k. You can look at the other fees here. So Brufton was brought in for just shy of $1 million, and Mario Bellet, the Fulham youngster, signed for 675k. So pretty cheap dealings, really. I think we spent just over $2 million across those three youngsters. I'd expect all of them really to sign for more than, to sell for more than that long term. So that's something to look forward to. Anyway, I don't know if any teams are going to be playing on this Tuesday or if every team is going to be playing on the Wednesday. We'll send our assistant to the press conferences because I can't multitask. I never normally do press conferences in FM. Like, once the year starts, I feel like for the first few months, I still do the press talks. And the reason I do them is because I kind of feel like I should see all the new kind of lines that are in it. And to be fair, this year in FM16, there's a lot of new stuff that's pretty cool. There's still the samey answers, perhaps in a few areas. But generally speaking, there's some pretty nice variety, I guess, in the questions and answers you're able to give and ask, which is nice. And I've actually been enjoying doing them. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I can't multitask. I can't kind of address them at the same time as live commenting this. So as a result, we're not going to do it. For this game, Joe Allen on 90% condition. I'm actually going to drop him in favour of Thiago Maia. The young Brazilian's continuing to improve a lot. He looks like he's going to be an incredible defensive mid for us. I don't want to say he'll be starting next year, but I think he's on the way to being ready to start. Fairly consistent performer. Maybe in a position to suit Premier League football. Just a really reliable player, doesn't let players get past him. Great tackler, good marking. I think the next thing for this guy really is going to be training his player preferred moves, getting marks tightly on him. In fact, I could do that now. Why don't we do that now? You guys can see his training. So I'm actually training his quickness because he's not super athletic. And at 19, there might still be a little bit of room just to help with that. But anyway, let's do this. I want you to mark your opponents tightly. Excellent. And that'll be a useful player preferred move for him. So that's the team I think we are going to go with. Coutinho's still out. Firmino, we're going to put you on the bench, I think. Yeah, we'll put you on the bench. We'll take off Bogdan. I don't really like to play with a goalkeeper on the bench. I think in the last 3 years of playing Football Manager, I've maybe had to bring on a keeper once. Ever, maybe. I can't think of many occasions, especially in live comms. I don't think it's ever happened. But yeah, we're playing Palace today. We're favourites. Obviously, our fate is now in our own hands, and that is something that I'm very keen to, I guess, thrive off. And I'm hoping that the pressure isn't going to get to our players. It shouldn't get to our players because we're in a very good position. And this team talk's certainly going to help. Lots of the players looking delighted, looking excited. We'll have the league table in the bottom right. I'm not going to get up the fixtures. We'll get them up for the final day because that's where things might get a little bit squeaky bum time. Of course, if United lose today and we win, well, we'd be finishing top 4, and then I might not live com the last game, but we'll see how we get on here. We have a chance. Maya to Henderson. Can he whip in a good ball? Ings is there. Near post rebound. Saved again. And McCarthy. Well, he's just gone absolutely massive for Crystal Palace. He has saved their bacon right there. We are, of course, at home for these last 2 games against Crystal Palace. And I'm trying to think who the last game was now. And I really can't remember. It's completely gone from my head. I want to say Swansea. I'm pretty sure it's Swansea. But we're at home for both of them. So I'm hoping we can use that. And we're on the attack again here. Emre Can, or Chan, rather. Nathaniel Klein whips it in first time. Danny Ings is there. Danny boy. 22nd goal of the season. He's been our top goal scorer. Benteke not far behind him. And what a goal, what a result. We actually go above Chelsea at the moment on goal difference. That's worth kind of noting, is the fact that our goal difference, I believe, is superior to both Chelsea and Manchester United. So, yeah, that's something that we have to consider. And if we can win these last 3 games, now we finish top 4, we get what we wanted for the season. It's been a bit of a funny season, really, because obviously I signed a lot of young players, and I kind of anticipated the likes of Mbolo to really, I guess, adapt to the first team football this season. And it's been a bit of a reality check, I guess, for the fact I spent £100 million, and really of those players, the only one who's really played regularly for me has been Thiago Maia, and he was bought for £6 million. That said, obviously a lot of these younger players have actually gone out on loan. A lot of them are playing regular first team football. You've got Mamana and Cubas, who are playing in Argentina to the end of the year. Both of them have developed superbly. And over the next few years, I think we're going to benefit from the transfer business I've done this summer. We've just got another goal, which is fantastic, because we now go 2 goals ahead, looking comfortable here. But no, as I was saying, this summer I kind of took a risk, and it almost backfired. I'm going to be completely honest, because I signed a lot of young players. I signed a lot of players with potential. And over the next few years, our team is going to benefit from the transfers we made. But this year, we've really not given our additions kind of done as well as I hoped for. I thought we'd be comfortably top 4 throughout, and that might seem a little bit naive. We certainly don't have one of the top 4 squads in the league. The media predicted us to finish 5th. And it's been tricky. Obviously, I didn't sign players for the first team this year, and it almost cost me my job at one point. I say that now. The fact we've reached the Europa League final, even if we were to finish 5th, I don't think we'd be sacked. But at the same time, I don't know, it's a bit of a relief. I feel like I've got off the hook a little bit with how we've done so far this season, particularly the end point. It started off pretty rough, obviously. We had a rough start to the season playing United, Arsenal and Chelsea and losing them all. And I knew that we were going to be playing catch-up from that point onwards. And obviously we lost against a lot of those teams and drew against a few of them in the mid-season point. But we had an easier run of fixtures. We thrived off that. We got a good run going in Europe. The team has been acting and playing pretty positively as a result, which is, nice to be able to say we've taken the momentum, I guess, from those perhaps easier wins. And that just kept going and going and going, and it's kind of snowballed here. But anyway, 10 minutes left. We are looking very comfortable here. 2-0 up. Ball whipped in. Sturridge is there. Is he offside? I don't think he is. He is offside. He is offside. Sit down, Jack. Don't get excited. Unfortunately for us, it looks like Chelsea are still drawing and United are going to win, which does mean it will go down to the last game of the season to see who will finish 3rd and 4th, which is kind of curious. It's going to be a weird situation potentially where if we were to lose the Europa League... if we were to finish 5th but win the Europa League final, there'd actually be 5 English teams in the Champions League next year, because of course new rules this season, or was it last season? The bottom line is basically the winners of the Europa League, which is what we're in the final of, and the winners of the Champions League automatically get qualified for the Champions League the following season, regardless of how well they've done in their own domestic division. But anyway, looking at it here, United won really comfortably. Chelsea were held to a draw by Tottenham. Our goal difference is pretty good at 45. If we win and Chelsea win, unless they're winning by a decent margin of 6 or 7 goals, we should be okay. Of course, worth noting, they've still got to play Arsenal. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Arsenal can do us a favour, and it will mean that this game against Swansea, who are in 9th place at the moment, won't be kind of the be-all or end-all. If we look at Swansea's recent results, they've been in some pretty rough form. They've lost to Villa, Arsenal and Spurs. They did just beat Sunderland, but Sunderland, to my recollection, are kind of right down there at the bottom of the table. They're 19th. So to perhaps only beat them 1-0 isn't the best. One thing that's worth noting, you may have noticed our financial graph here, we're actually £18 million in the red. Obviously, at the end of every season, you get your TV deals come in. As a result of, I guess, some of the dealings that I made in the summer and the fact that we're paying a lot of the player fees over the next 48 months, our finances aren't going to be super comfortable. However, with players like Balotelli, coming back from their loans, I'm hoping that we might be able to sell those players on for a little bit of money, help balance the books, and also fund some potential reinvestment into the side. But anyway, let's continue. That Europa League game isn't long after the end of the Premier League season. That is pretty rough. It will also affect Spurs, it's worth noting. Good to see our coaching staff pleased with the development and kind of progression of some of our players in training. Emre Can this year has improved a ton. He looks absolutely incredible. He's a really good player in FM this year. Enjoys big matches, fairly consistent, could improve a slight amount in the future. Leading Premier League player, and he's only 22. Been an incredible player for us. He's just such a well-rounded player. He's kind of made for kind of that box-to-box role, I kind of feel like. As you can see in centre mid here, advanced playmaker, can play deep line playmaker. I really like him in that roaming playmaker role, to be honest. His passing isn't incredible, nor is his vision, but his sheer athleticism and also his really good stamina just puts him in good stead, I guess, to play that role, or the box-to-box role. But anyway, we're going to see how we get on here. We are going to be playing against Swansea. We're going to Wales. We're not going to Wales. Wales is coming to us. Not the whole nation, just the Swansea fans. I'm hoping we can get and win. Obviously, we're in third place, which is, I think, the highest we've been all season. It's certainly the highest we've been in a very, very, very long time. Let's quickly have a look here as I quickly skip through all this French Ligue 1 nonsense that's flooding my inbox. We'll have a look at our past league positions just to see where we are. But I think this might be the highest place we've been. It's certainly the highest we've been in a long, long time. If we look at Liverpool, yeah, we've been not as high as third since the 19th game week of the season. But I think that was very short-lived. As you can see, at that point, the league was really tight because we dropped from third to seventh. But we've slowly kind of slogged up the league towards the end of the year, and we find ourselves in third place going into this last game of the season. So I'm hoping we can beat Swansea, continue our fine home form, and we've had a very good home form this year, really. And, you know, get that top four spot that we really craved at the start of the season and perhaps didn't look super likely at the start of the season. In terms of the team, a few players struggling a little bit. I'm going to bring in Joe Allen to play the roaming playmaker role. Are there other changes I want to make? I'm going to start Gabriel Barbosa, I think, alongside Danny Ings. Barbosa, of course, got that really nice goal in the game against Everton off the bench. I'm hoping for more of the same from him. Coutinho, not back yet. Full fitness in 9 days. Probably not going to be back for that Europa League final. That's a real shame for him because early on in the season, we really, really relied on Felipe to come big for us. And so to have him out, I don't know, that's a little bit disappointing. But that's the team we're going to go with, I think. Barbosa, Ings up front. Other than that, fairly unchanged. I can't be bothered to do the tunnel interviews. Right, I'm just going to tell the players, go out there, relax, the result will come. I don't want to stress out the players. I don't want to pile the pressure on them. We've got a fairly young squad, and so, you know, to tell them aggressively, I expect a win today might, you know, impact them slightly negatively. I want to encourage us to play well. And we'll see how we get on here. Obviously, Ings is 22 or 23, Ibe 19, Barbosa 18 or 19, Maya 18 or 19, he might be 19 now, but Emre Can 22. This is a young side with a lot of years left in it, and I guess the young strength only kind of travels further back the side. Anyway, looking at the stats here, we're dominating early on, but we've not got that killer goal. I guess we should get up the fixtures. I guess that would be something to do for this last game. We'll watch this throw in first. Emre Can, Joe Allen, options inside. Jordan Ibe, hit it, my son. Is that a penalty? It is a penalty. Ashley Williams with the foul. Let's get the latest. That's not it. I don't want latest updates. I want latest scores. All right, who is going to take the penalty for us? Gabriel Barbosa, bang, hits it in. The young Brazilian does a job for us. Arsenal beating Chelsea 2-0. That is fantastic news for us. United still winning their game, but all we need is for that Arsenal result to stay as it is. And, well, we finish top four, even if unless we lose, I think, 10-0 or something at this point. It would have to be a pretty catastrophic collapse. So I'm just gonna put this little result here at the bottom in the middle, because that's the only one we need to focus on, and conveniently, it's right at the top of the latest scores. So, touch wood, fingers crossed, Chelsea don't pull off some miracle comeback, but we have our own lead. At the moment, we're going to finish third in the season, and actually, we're only going to finish 4 points off Arsenal in second, which is absolutely fantastic, because we have another set-piece ball whipped in. Gabriel Barbosa! Please don't be offside. He's not offside. He scores again. The young Brazilian, I've brought him into this game. He didn't start a lot this season, but he's the kind of player who has real technical ability. Our coach is singing his praises during the week, saying that he's been improving a lot, and he comes in here, grabs 2 massive goals for us that are pretty much, at this point, unless there's a very bizarre change of events, going to see us get top 4, and well, what an end to the season it's been. I was worried going into the live com. It could have gone so many different ways. We were 5th place. It was hard. It was tricky. We've not been in the top 4 for a long time, but other teams have slipped up around us. We've capitalised on those mistakes, and we've performed very well and continued our good form into the end of the kind of season in these last 3 games. When I kind of sat down and looked at the fixtures, I was somewhat worried about the Everton game. We'd lost to them in the FA Cup, only beaten them 2-0 in the league previously, and it's kind of one of those situations where I don't know. It's the kind of game that if you lose against Everton, you suddenly go into this Swansea game and also the game previously. Who was the game previously against? It's completely gone from my head. It was 2 minutes ago. Crystal Palace, it was. And then the kind of games where following the, I guess, defeat against Everton, it's very easy to just lose momentum completely and, I guess, end up finishing way off the pace, but we've not done that here. Looking at the Arsenal result, 3-1 to Arsenal now. Falcao got a goal back. It was Welbeck scoring just before half-time that made it 3-0 Arsenal. The United game, just real quick, is 3-1 to them against West Ham, so they look like they're going to win their game. So it looks like Chelsea going to be missing out on European football. There may be a few players who we can look to steal. Maybe, just maybe. Players struggling a little bit for fitness. I probably should have made these changes sooner, particularly with the Europa League coming up, but we'll make them now nevertheless, save them for 5 minutes. And it's going to be a dramatic end to the season. And Arsenal score again, and that is going to be game over, season over. That's a fantastic end to the season. To finish third is amazing, because I thought at one point 4th wasn't going to be possible, but the players have really come true. You've seen it in these last 3 games. This is the kind of performance. These are the kind of performances they've been putting in all the other matches throughout the season, except when we've played the big teams, which seem to have always been the live comms this year. But it's a great way to end on a high. Looking at it, won our last 2 games 2-0. That's just great. Just great. Comfortable wins. Looking at the league table and how it finishes, 3rd place the finish, 47 plus goal difference, which is really nice. Looking at this here, Bournemouth relegated, Sunderland relegated. Who was the other team who went down? It was Stoke on 22 points. That's going to be really disappointing for Bournemouth and Sunderland. I'm out for 5 to 7 days with a neck strain, so unfortunately for us, he's not going to be featuring in our kind of Europa League final. Anyway, Barini close to trigger and a clause, excellent stuff. We qualify for the Champions Cup, the Europa League, the Champions League rather, but we all kind of already knew that. You can see our dismantling of Southampton 6-1, which is, of course was the first game of the year. We also obviously beat Everton 4-1 and beat West Brom 5-1. They were all key games for us. What is our board budget going to be for the year? In an ideal world, we currently spend about £2 million on the wages. In an ideal world, given the money I've spent and the fact that because we signed a load of players last summer with future contracts, like paying them over a period of time, that's going to impact our wage and transfer budget this year. I'd be quite happy with a £2.2 million wage budget and so we'll say a £20 million transfer budget. So I'm looking for about 200k extra on the wages compared to what we're on now and £20 million. What's it going to be? Bam. I've clicked on it. That was anticlimactic. £2.4 million and £14 million. That is insane stuff. That's great. Obviously, Champions League's going to bring us in a lot of TV money, which is good stuff. And that is more money than I was expecting, if I'm honest. We also received £20 million for finishing third in the Premier League. So that's probably helped us out too. Wow, guys, what an end to the season that was. To finish third, fantastic achievement in our first season here with Liverpool. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you've watched until this point, smash the like button. I love it. I love how you guys are enjoying this series. Obviously, can't wait for next episode. It's going to be the Europa League final special. for episode 13. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. If you have been enjoying this series so far and you've enjoyed this first season, smash the like button. Let me know, would you like to see episode 14 following the Europa League final be kind of an end of season review where we go into a lot of nitty gritty detail? Let me know down in the comments. And yeah, that's going to wrap up everything from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.